Hello, tribe. This is Lisa LaJoie. Welcome to From Misfit to Mystic. This week, it's going to be me and you. I am a master intuitive and lifelong clairvoyant, and I do this transformational, high-end work with the universe to help souls understand their purpose, their passion, and their possibilities. I'm really excited about this work, and I have to tell you, stoked about today's conversation on the show. I been going through quite a number of growing pains and aches myself, and as many of you have been recently. The stars are aligned for quite an extraordinary time. The stars are aligned to push us to become more, to be more, to understand more about our existence and where the hell we need to show up to it and what we need to do to break through the evolutionary cycles that we've been creating as a civilization for a very long time. And it's starting with us personally. The elements are there. They're pushing us, they're pushing us extraordinarily so right now, saying, hey, you guys, what are you creating here? I mean, you're really starting to pay some pretty intense consequences globally, socially, and within yourself. And it's interesting because over the course of time, I've been doing this work. I've had a lot of predictive downloads, like what's coming down the pipeline. Where is life taking us? What is the universe showing us? And now where are we going? What are we creating? Because oftentimes people think that, life is happening at you and that you're not, and we are not responsible soulfully and spiritually and as human beings to understand what we're creating and morphing the world into. And so this subject has been coming up, and I'll tell you, I'm not necessarily a classified astrologer, but I definitely study every modality that I believe is of great service to my work and to the world and to the earth, just to understand what is going on. Everything is soul aligned to serve us, astrologically as well. The planets are there to serve us, teach us who we are and where our possibilities are for expansion. And so astrologers read the charts, they read the planets. Each planet has a different alignment. Each planet has a special vocabulary. It all rolls together, and through the planets, there's a description of human opportunities and how the aspects of the planets relate to us as human beings, personally, in our mind, our hearts, and our beings. And each planet represents a human form or spiritual form, an earth form. So as an example, your sun sign represents your personality. The planet Venus represents love in who you are, love in life. Saturn represents construction, internally and externally, and karma, and building yourself from, the cause and effect of your life in previous times, and so on and so on and so on. And so it's a science, and a science that is profoundly powerful, let's say, like beyond powerful. And when you read about the stars or the planets, and often what happens to me is I'll be, because I'm a direct channel, basically with the universe, is I'm tuned in. So what'll happen is I'll ask for guidance around what's going on, and I'll get a hit that I should check the astrological mappings that are occurring and the impact that the planets are making, so that I can understand the vibrational possibilities happening for all of us here and what's being pushed and pulled, and kind of knead through it so that I can have a comprehension of what the opportunities are for all of us. And I'll tell you what, lately it's been intense. I mean, really, really intense. Time is unbelievably powerful in the sense of acquiring awareness, acquiring awakening, being pushed and propelled into the observation of self in a deep, deep, deep way. And, it's easy to, I've been doing this a long time. And what I noticed recently going on in the world is people are talking about spirituality versus experiencing the truth of it. Which, I mean, first of all, don't get me wrong, I love that there's an expansion of knowledge around the subject of spirituality and who we are and the universe and its impact on our lives and in our possibilities. But there's also other things, like your soul has a path and it has imprints in itself, in its energy patterns, to, work towards changing. Your soul has a purpose with you. It's not just you as a human being. And often people are challenged by this deeply. They say, well, yeah, but the universe, and yeah, but I did this law of attraction thing, and yeah, but I did all this stuff, and I don't understand why things aren't happening, and why the same patterns go on and on and on, and I don't get it. I'm such a good person. Like, why do bad things happen to me? And why isn't this changing? And sometimes we don't realize there's a deeper reason, that there's a soul path, there's a karma experience going on that is rippling through our lives, that is trying to help us see, hey, you need to learn this lesson, or you need to own this thinking pattern you have, or you need to own your life in a little bit more of a powerful way. And then things can shift. There's an awakening that is sometimes trying to occur that people do not necessarily understand, which is causing the patterns directly. So remember that when you're trying to grow and you're trying to exponentially change and transform, there's layers to this existence process. So if you notice that you have a pattern that mentally you did all this change with, you worked on your emotions, you changed your mindset, and you notice it's continuously coming up, then it may be soul-based. It may be that you're living a pattern, a soul mindset, and a soul pattern that is being called forth for you to understand and change. Our decisions that we've made over many lifetimes, the decisions that we made 1,000 years ago, can be affecting you right now. There are imprints that are left behind around those decisions, and the soul sometimes hasn't understood the lesson and comes here again with that lesson in mind to make the shift. So be deep, go deep. Don't just go surface when you're living a pattern that's coming up over and over again. Allow yourself to work with somebody like myself, a soul practitioner, a person helping you dig deep into the soul passage, who can look at the transcendental process, going deeper in the stages and layers of who you are, so that you make that transformation, so that you understand, listen, this is not occurring just on a human level this lifetime, or from your parents this lifetime. It's your parents 5 lifetimes ago. And there needs to be a little bit of healing from that stage of your existence till today. Because sometimes we reignite the lessons through our challenges and, our human experience, or they just come through because the right time is there to learn them. We're in the right time and place to learn what we have to learn. And so everything is in alignment for that lesson to unfold. And it's very confusing. I mean, listen, we're just human, for those of us that have understanding on a deeper realm, like myself, and I want to share as a teacher and as a person who's lived the experience and worked with thousands of people over the years, I want you to know that there's layers sometimes that are causing the patterns to reveal themselves and open up. So not to just think in one dimension, to understand that you're multidimensional, and that there's more sometimes revealing itself through the dimensions of a pattern around the dimensions of you. And so be open and be willing to, say, maybe there is decisions. If you're in a rush to grow and you're just saying, well, I don't want to learn this lesson and I don't feel like it and I don't know why this is coming up and I've done everything that I can, and you're in that kind of victim mindset, like something is happening to you and you're wanting, the instant gratification of change because you said so, it's not always going to work, because we say so, because we declare something doesn't mean we fully embody the lesson of it. And when you've embodied the lesson of it, because there is a transformation in your life. The pattern doesn't come back. It actually completely shifts. You don't feel anchored in it anymore. You don't feel connected anymore, and it doesn't unfold in your life anymore. And that's an indicator that you've really understood the deeper meaning. If you find yourself trying to learn and grow in something profound in your life, and I'm really talking about patterns here, things that are occurring or things that are in your way, obstacles and blocks that you can't seem to overcome no matter what kind of work you do on yourself, or even if it's doing mind shift work or transformation or therapy or soul healing or energy shifts, or you keep repeating a pattern. And I've seen this happen with a couple of people. And clients of mine, what's misunderstood is this, I'm declaring that this is what I want, so that's how it should go down. And I don't want this anymore in my life, so it shouldn't be there anymore in my life. That's not how it works. If your soul has a lesson that it's trying to learn, no matter what you declare, if you don't learn it and you're not the supportive factor in the shift, then it's very difficult to make the change. The change comes from a clear alignment with the new understanding that you need to have around how deep the pattern goes, and then understanding the lessons in the experience. So it may be really tough to realize, you know what, I did some pretty horrible things in another lifetime, which are influencing me today. And I'm a great person today. So I don't understand why I'm suffering over these things. Why can't I get the love of my life the way I want it? I've seen this happen with different clients that I have, I don't know why it's not occurring, yet they're making the same decisions over and over and over again. I see it's a very common mistake. Well, I said that it's different now, so it's different now, but it's not really different because something inside is still resisting, or there's a resentment, or there's some kind of decision that was made over some part of your lifetime where you don't realize you're still very much in alignment with, like things like beliefs, like I'm going to pay this person back, or it's not me. It's them. It's somebody else who's responsible for why I'm here. I'm a victim. It's happening to me, not with me, or, I can't control what's going on. I don't have any control of why these things are happening. I'm a victim of why these types of situations are occurring. Fabricated personal imagery, like you're not at fault, you're not responsible, it can't be you, it's not you. These things don't serve to make deeper transformations and soul understanding. They don't work to support your change. If, of course, because remember what I'm talking about is, if you have a pattern that is consistently reoccurring, embrace it, welcome it in your life. Don't victimize yourself through the process. If you believe that you're a victim of any circumstance, it's going to be hard for you to see that truth and have that switch that comes from the truth. There's a method that I have that I use that I've created called the truth switch. And it's a process that I've developed to help people really understand, like, everything happening to you has a component where you need to embrace it with open arms. The first step of the truth switch is to say there's something being revealed to me that's true about me or my life or something else in my life, my soul, my higher consciousness. And maybe it's not pretty. People think our soul is only made of light and da 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 da. No, your soul has potentially caused a lot of shit on the earth at different times and needs to be taught, and it needs lessons in itself that are being taught through negative experiences. Don't think just because it's a spark of light, our souls are here to live in the contrast. And some of the contrast has been, we've created negative circumstances for ourselves and other people. And just because today we have knowledge that teaches us about our light, doesn't mean that we've always been that. And there's a lot of darkness. If you can look into the existence of humanity right now and take a look around, there's a lot of darkness that needs to be cleared out, that is not cleared out because our spiritual beliefs are now, even on some level, have become superficial. And, this whole podcast today, this whole conversation on the show is to talk about that, like to really have an open dialogue, or just like trying to break some concepts that are out there today because of the superficial knowledge that's, we're embracing as spirituality. Spirituality is, you've caused shit in somebody else's life, then you might have to deal with it at one point, whether it's this or next time. There's a path and an alignment in karma, in the creation and co-creativity of lessons that we are all experiencing together. And then we're here in this human plane actually creating more. So when you get here, you have free will. And you can choose whatever you want. And oftentimes you may not realize that you're creating karma. You're creating something very negative in your life or somebody else's life, or in the future possibilities of this earth, by the actions that you're making in this present moment, with all the knowledge that you have and who you are today. And forgiveness, the process of forgiveness, the process of letting go, is about seeing that truth. And for that to be what switches you around and helps you see where you need to go from this point in time. But if there's resistance, it's not me, it's my parents, it's this ex-boyfriend, it's this old husband, it's my past life, it's, the neighbor, if it's my child, or if it's, something that happened to me when I was 5 years old or 6 years old or this lifetime or that lifetime. And that means I'm not responsible. Key factor here. That means I'm not responsible for what's going on. You will fail, probably epically, on making the patterns change and getting to the place in your life where you really want to be and you really want to live. So your desired life that you're trying to make happen may have these obstacles, because every time you walk forward towards your goal, your dream, you're not getting the lesson. And there's oftentimes, especially in accordance to relationships, like, that happens a lot. Like a pattern keeps revealing itself. A person feels super close to the person of their dreams, and then it doesn't work out, or, they don't get what's going on, and then there's a fail in the relationship. And there's reasons for that. There really are. And the first thing to do is to try to understand the reasons that something might fail, or that something might repeat itself over and over and over again. We start with self-reflection, the truth switch method. First and foremost, what is it that I need to embrace about myself in this experience that I'm not seeing? Is there something that might be being created because of me? Is there a part of it that I have that's involved in the manifestation of this negative reaction? Is there something in my deeper core energy that is causing or attracting this to me? Is there something I don't understand that I need to understand? These types of questions open the door to possibilities, and open you up to thinking differently, open you up to, challenging your mind, challenging your beliefs, challenging yourself to look in the corners and see if there's any shadows in the corners of your lessons. Now, if you're unconscious and you don't even think like this, and it's the first time you're hearing these types of concepts, then for sure you're going to do the same thing. It's the same process either way. You're just wanting to look and go, is there something that I might be doing that might be causing this problem? Do I believe certain things about love? Do I build and establish trust? I'm talking about relationships now. Do I make sure that people earn my trust, or do I just give it and believe the fantasies of my mind? Do I have the right boundaries in place? Do I open myself vulnerably and intimately? Because sometimes people will over open themselves without respect to somebody else's ability. So that means, people who overshare to somebody who is not emotionally willing to receive that kind of intimacy, and they break, women do this often. They overstretch the emotional dialogue with a man when they first meet them. And the man is just like, this is not what I'm looking for in the first 10 minutes of our conversation here. And don't get me wrong, women, don't freak out. Men do it too. Absolutely 100%. Where you're oversharing emotionally with somebody you hardly know, and it turns them off. They don't even want to be that vulnerable because you haven't earned their trust. Situations like that, like making decisions about who somebody is without actually making sure that that person is the one for you, or that there is love coming back to you on the other side. Respecting other people's pace. Common mistake. We don't respect other people's space for intimacy or pace for intimacy. That causes breakdowns in the circumstance. Isolating oneself, waiting for Mr. Right to knock on the door, yet not putting yourself out there, or having the open type of energy that allows Mr. or Mrs. Right to come forward to you. It's easy to forget that we may have deep beliefs about what's going on that we don't necessarily see. But the point of this conversation in general is to say that sometimes if you know that you're doing all the right stuff, and you've worked on every area of your life, and you've done the transformation, and you've done the NLP, and you've done the mind work shift, and you've done the theta healing, and you've seen the psychic medium, and you've worked as hard as you can, and you saw the therapist, and you don't know why you can't make the change, just understand it can be another core level. It can be a soul lesson that's really important for you to ignite, to understand, to turn, flash the light on. That's what I mean by ignite. You're just looking at it. You're seeing through its fire. You're looking at what it is and saying, maybe it's deeper than what I think. Maybe my soul is dealing with a karma that's bigger than me. And when you take a look from that viewpoint, there's a few avenues you can take. Definitely work with somebody like myself, or a person who can get into deeper transformational work on the core, the levels and the core levels of who you are. Is there a higher calling in the lesson? Is there a karma in the lesson? These are areas of exploration you may have to do. Is my soul trying to learn something way bigger than me as a human right now that I'm not really getting? You can check astrologically, get a good astrologer. You can check numerologically as well. What are my lessons? What is it that's there inside of these areas of my life that I may not get? Oftentimes hints and messages are revealed in a person's chart that say this is your lesson. You have power lessons to learn. You have family lessons to learn. There's actually karmic houses in an astrological chart, which are very revealing and helpful to understand the map and the course of your possibilities of growth through this lifetime. So these are ways that you can absolutely work with yourself to understand. But this whole conversation came from, the deeper understanding of, hey, people coming forward right now, dealing with really hardcore stuff. The planets are pushing, life is bringing the opportunity. We've manifested quite a substantial amount of growth in front of us. We're being challenged left and right to face that growth and to face what we're creating in our world. As many of you know, it's very obvious if you look out there. And we have that opportunity now to make the shifts necessary, to make the shifts required to step into that new place. But there is some probing into the energy and the vibration on a core level that is optional right now, or that may be coming up for many of you, that you can really dig deep in the soul path and dig deep in the karmic path to understand, are we creating results personally which are showcasing themselves out in the world and out into what we're not manifesting in our life that we really want to. And that's all of us. So if you have deep lessons that are coming up and it's obvious you're really struggling to change them, start looking at some of these truth switch questions. Take a look at, what it might be. Hey, what are other options here where you may be able to grow more deeply because you take a look at them? Get that, consultation with the astrologer. Get that consultation with the intuitive transformer. Get the conversation going with your therapist. Whatever modality you use to do transformation, it's really important because this is a wonderful time and a great opportunity for us to reveal those healings and make them clear and find our way through them so that we maximize our opportunity for transformation. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the show. I am super excited about some cool stuff coming up. If you haven't heard, there's a spiritual mastery application process that I'm in right now. And if you're interested in learning some mastery with me and developing your spiritual skills and increasing your ability to know all the layers of who you are and your purpose, potential, and the power of your soul, then this is the kind of course you want to be involved with. 6 months journey with me, and you're going to learn a lot of things around spirituality and pulling spirituality into your life. And when we plug into intuition and spirituality, our life transforms immediately. The cool part about the course is that I will be teaching you how it works, let's say, how ascension works, how acceptance works, how the soul path works, how intuition works, how the laws of creation work, and how they all come together in this 6-month course. You have to have some kind of knowledge around spirituality. You need to have a sense of it. It's important to be aware of that. It's important that if you're going to apply, that you have some knowledge. You don't need to be a master. This is not the course. This course is to teach people who have knowledge but don't know how to pull it all together, who've learned many things or who do understand they're made of vibration and light and energy, and they just want to pull it all together to make a change, make the shifts required so that we can upgrade our lives and live more passionately and spiritually and soulfully. So this whole course is designed to serve that type of person. It's not for people who don't know anything about spirituality or who are not open-minded to the potential that there's more of you than just your body and your mind, that there's way more in there than that, and that the universe and life work together to support change, manifestation, great growth, and your potential. And if you don't want to learn all those amazing powerful areas of knowledge and bodies of knowledge, then definitely don't sign up for this course. But it's really easy. You get on an application process. You can check my site, lisalajoie.mykajabi.com. And so you can learn all about it. It's amazing. Very cool process that we're going to go through. It's starting soon. I'm still accepting applicants. And join me. That would be awesome. I'd love to have you in there, and I'd love to be a part of your spiritual enhancement and enlightenment. And that's about it. Listen, thank you for joining the show. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. Please leave your comments. I'm happy to talk with you about these subjects. They're pretty intense and, really powerful, beautiful. They're my passion, learning about soul spirituality and how to be a human being living in light. That's my jam. And we'll see you next time. Have an amazing rest of your day. Lisa LaJoie signing out. Bye for now.